You know, sometimes I love my setup, and then other times I hate it because it just keeps falling over. Hey friends, my name's Gabrielle, and welcome to FrumiousReads. Today is the end of week 3 of my book a day challenge. I once again was able to read a book a day for the entire week, which is pretty cool actually. I'm kind of getting into the swing of things. I have a system. This video, we will also be drawing the winner for that giveaway that I was doing, which was for the book Out by Laura Preble, because I had an interview with her. If you guys haven't seen, I will go ahead and link a video in the description below or in the annotations. So if you guys haven't seen that, go ahead and check it out. But at the end of this video, we will be drawing the winner, so go ahead and stick around for that. But without further ado, let's just jump into the books that I read this week. The Trial of Fallen Angels by James Kimmel Jr., Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee, Have a Little Faith by Mitch Albom, I Wrote This for You and Only You by Please Find This, Total Oblivion More or Less by Alan De Niro, Little Princess by Connor Grennan, and A Lesson Before Dying by Ernest Gaines. This week I was able to once again complete my challenge for the Around the Year in 52 Books Goodreads group that I'm a part of. I was able to read Harper Lee's Go Set a Watchman for the challenge of a book that I meant to read in 2015 but didn't. So, best, the okay, and the worst book that I read this week. We'll start off with the best one. I'm going to talk about I Wrote This for You and Only You. It was the first book that I reread this year, and just honestly, it's just a book that for some reason just really has stuck with me ever since I read it. It's basically a collection of prose and poetry coupled with pictures of the world, like just random things too, like all in black and white. And you know what? Honestly, this book can be read as cliched. It could be considered really like pretentious and too self-aware and trying to be deep when it shouldn't be. There's reasons why we use really cliched phrases and words and just things to describe how we're feeling. It's because people identify in that way, if that makes sense. What I feel like this book does is it takes a lot of those cliched opinions and views and ways of just writing poetry in general and makes it into a story that you can identify with and that you want to read more of. And honestly, I just think it's so well done. I love how it incorporates pictures. It's almost like Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children in the way that it incorporates pictures as well with the text. It just makes it feel like you are reading a story about yourself, about these thoughts that you have had. Even if they're cliched and ridiculous and you know that a million other people have them, they're still thoughts that you have had yourself. So that's what makes them special to you. So just overall, that was kind of my opinion on why that book is my top one of the week. Sorry if it's like different angles every like 5 minutes. It's just because I can't figure out how to get this tripod to work right. Moving on to the book that I thought was okay this week. This book was given to me by a friend to read. Total Oblivion More or Less. The first reason why I think this book is okay is because once again, it's a type of book that you have to like the style of writing in order to get into. The story itself is really cool. It's about these Vikings who somehow take over the modern day world and kind of knock out all electricity, and there's a plague that happens and animals start talking and just everything kind of scientifically rearranges itself. I love the fact that the characters weren't likable characters. Like, they aren't characters that you would choose yourself to read from. I thought it was done well. I saw that this book didn't have the best reviews on Goodreads, and I can see why. This is a book that's definitely meant for certain types of people, but if you're into reading kind of weirder or just like differently written books, then this is definitely a book that I would recommend to you. I thought the writing style was good. The only thing that I wish I got a little bit more of was you don't get the backstory behind how the apocalypse happened. You know, and I see how like everyday people, when the apocalypse is happening, their main goal would be to survive, and that's very much how this story is told. It's not just an automatic take these main characters and not all of a sudden turn them into heroines. That's not what happens. It's just they're very much side characters and they are acting like how people normally would in this kind of situation. I thought this book was okay. I mean, is it one that I would reread? I don't know, maybe. Thank you for letting me borrow this book, by the way. They are also the friend who has my I Wrote This for You, Only You copy, so hopefully I will be getting this back soon, and if not, this is kind of a public call out saying, hey, you should give your book back at some point. Anyway. So, my worst, oh my god, my worst book this week, I don't know what it is. I usually don't find bad books. I don't know if maybe it's because I'm reading so many more books now that I have a higher standard of books. This book is The Trial of Fallen Angels, and it was just so disappointing. So disappointing to me. The premise is amazing. This girl dies and she goes through purgatory, but instead of like actual purgatory how we imagine it, she's essentially a attorney for Judgment Day, and her job is to kind of put these souls on trial to decide whether they're going to heaven or hell, and she works with another team of lawyers who kind of do the same thing. And that sounds so awesome, like so cool, such an amazing premise. This book just did not live up to it. It was done in a completely different way than how I would have thought it was. You could tell like they were trying to make it mysterious, but honestly it was just kind of like, okay, this is common sense stuff. I feel like even in this situation you'd be able to logic your way and kind of figure out that obviously there's something corrupt going on here. I liked how they kind of presented the cases, but it was kind of boring in between the cases, and just in general it was just kind of a letdown. And at the end they had this big twist, and just it wasn't a twist. It was like we saw that coming. It just did not capture my attention at all, and I really wanted to like this book because it sounded so good, but I just couldn't get into it. Okay, so that kind of wraps it up for the books that I read this week. Before we go into the drawing of the winner of Out, I'm just gonna say my challenge real quick from the Around the Year in 52 Books group. Read a book that is based on a different continent. So for me, that book is going to be The Commoner by John Burnham Schwartz. Basically, a girl in Japan marries the crown prince. It goes through how she has this nervous breakdown right after the marriage, and it jumps 30 years into the future where she's watching another girl marry her son, who is the crown prince, and just kind of reflecting on how that was her. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of flashbacks, and I'm just really interested and excited to read this book. Alright, now we get to the fun part. I have everybody's names in this jar, which I will hold away here so you can't see. Okay, you can see everybody there? Alright.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm nervous too for picking you guys. I don't know what it is. This is like nerve-wracking. I don't get how people do this on a daily basis.
Okay, I have a name. You guys ready? Okay, so the winner is Sarah Night Owl. Congratulations, Sarah. Just in general, thank you guys so much for leaving comments and just for entering. I'm really glad that people were excited to get this book and just to enter the contest. So it was a lot of fun just kind of run, even though picking the name was actually really nerve-wracking. I was not expecting that at all. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if there's any of the books here that you would like me to do a review on. If you guys didn't know, I have a Twitter, which you guys can see on the screen. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and add me on Goodreads because I post daily kind of updates there about the books that I'm reading and how far along I am in them, and you guys can keep up with my challenge because I added that to the challenge portion of the Goodreads thing for 2016. If you guys haven't already, check out my latest video, which will be playing right after this. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye. It is so good. It's just so interesting and mysterious, and it keeps you on your toes the entire time.